Welcome back. For months, we've seen headlines about problems with gender inclusion in the technology sector. We've seen some suggested solutions, but experts agree the problem runs deeper than a single executive or company policy. It's more of a culture issue.
And to help companies determine how to help build inclusive cultures, the Women Tech Council has compiled and is today releasing the 2018 Shatter List. It's a list of 44 companies in the technology space that are actively employing programs and measures to really shatter that glass ceiling, especially in technology.
All right, so let's talk about the Shatter List. Sydney Tetro is here from the Women Tech Council. We also have Dana Artavino and Cora LaRose from Dell EMC here with us today talking about this. First, Sydney, to you. Why is this list out there? Why was it so important for you guys to compile and put together?
That's a great question. One of the things that we know is that we have to recognize the efforts. We're on this journey of getting to a place where our children never have to think about this. We have to recognize those efforts and the programs that are truly making an impact, because this is a top-down initiative that we're going after. How do you change culture, not only for those executives, but for every employee? And it goes from employee engagement to programming to the investments they're making to best practices. So we wanted the opportunity to recognize those active, engaged companies that are doing that work and that are accelerating the opportunity for the glass ceiling to be completely removed and never really even be talked about again. That's what we want to happen as fast as possible.
And you two have been working towards that goal. Explain to me kind of the steps you've been taking to make sure that women are included in these, quite frankly, high-powered jobs.
Absolutely. So we're very fortunate in our company. We have a group called Women in Action, and it's there as a foundational support for our employees. It's one of our employee resource groups. We do things like mentorship, things like as small as you can go and get your headshots done. We can work on resumes together, staying ahead of the tech industry and knowing the needs and what's out there and being sure that you're in a position to have a career plan and a career path that excites you and engages you. So in addition to the professional portion, we're also very involved in the community and personal support also, which I really love. We do things like go to SheTech or go to local schools and present. We've presented a program called Grow Rising before. We do things like Habitat for Humanity, lunches for the homeless shelter for the children and youth there, a whole broad range inside and outside of just technology to support each other and to support growth. And I've felt supported every step of the way in my career. I've been very thankful for that.
Dana, how has it impacted the culture at Dell EMC?
Well, it's great to work for a company where half the people in our leadership council, which is our senior most leaders in the company on site, are women. And so it's part of our everyday culture. So when I was asked to come here and talk about our culture, it's like this is a no-brainer for us. It's part of our the way we work every day. And not just for women, but we have a robust community of Latino professionals. We have a robust community of LGBTQ professionals, as well as Indian subcontinent groups, so many different ways that we are a diverse company. So it's part of our culture every day.
I think if you look at all of our differences, among those are our strengths. And if companies could just learn that and move forward. And Sydney, what are some of the companies out there? Clearly, you are not the norm in terms of tech companies. So what are we doing to try to get some of these tech companies to kind of move forward into the 21st century?
You know, there's programming. It requires programming and active programming at every level. You were just talking with Kareen around some of the work that's happening to make sure that there's clear executive transitions and making sure at those levels there's very active programs there. But it also requires programs around making sure that we have understood equal pay, right, and benefits. And those are just the entry levels, but then from that, we see this massive movement towards flexible work cultures, holding you accountable, not worrying about if you're in your job every day. So we see companies with 6 months paid maternity leave, 2-month paid paternity leave in our industry. We see companies who are completely fine if you need to leave at 4 o'clock for the soccer game and come back working. That's becoming the norm. That's attracting the talent, and then to retain them, they're transforming all those cultures. There's 9,700 people in the Dell group. eBay has had this group for their women for over a decade now, supporting those initiatives. And those are the things that we wanted to highlight on the Shatter List, that there are companies spending an immense amount of resources to help us accelerate and solve that problem. And while we hear about the issues all the time, it is going to be the concerted effort of resources getting deployed and talking about it at every level that will make the change for the entire world.
And we saw the list there flashed on the screen, some big-time companies there on the list that made it for 2018. Guys, appreciate it. We're out of time here. Sydney, Dana, and Rose here, Cora here today. We appreciate the insight, guys, and best of luck moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you.